Ah, lovely one for the YouTube today. Um, I have a tendency to run very serious. Boy, I look like a deep fried pork chop. Um, I have a tendency to run very serious, and I have a tendency to take things that are in front of me very literally at times. What this has to do with this, I don't know. We'll give it out there to the YouTubers who watch the channel. But I happened to be out and about today a little bit. Went to the Dollar General shop. Thank you, Nova. Um, and during the outing, which wasn't a bit of much, I just happened to think. Then I get out here to the house, and I'm looking out the kitchen window, and I see, of course, a woman out there, my age or older, probably a little older. And of course she has shorts all up to her crotch and her hair cut off to her ears. And it caused me to think of these good Christian women, and I know a few of them. And I look at your head and I think, my grandmother told me that I would notice a gnat on the rear end of a fly. She said it jokingly. She wasn't being cruel. She was very much the same way herself, probably how she recognized it. I look at these Christian women out there, most of them, and I see especially these bleached blonde heads, and that is an exercise in occultism itself. But I think to myself, you know, your God couldn't even give you the right color hair that you had to correct it. He couldn't even do that much, so don't tell me about why would I want anything to do with him. Your God that rules heaven and earth, your God of whom all things consist. So you say. You got the wrong one. You need to buddy up with Charles Manson. But he can't even give you the right color hair. What kind of God is that? That you have to correct it, as Christians correct God on most everything else also. And that's just the way it is. That's the way it is. A woman shall not wear that which pertaineth to a man. So not only are you wearing shorts, legs, but they're crotch height, and you're 80 years old. A little bit of hyperbole, but not much. Neither shall a man wear that which pertaineth to a woman. Okay, and it was an older couple standing out there out northwest of me. And the way that women butch their hair off anymore, even the good Christian, God-believing women, in the 60s when the Beatles came over, they were considered to be long-haired for men. They had long hair. Well, women go shorter than that now even. But the way that they do that, there was, I think, potentially a man and a woman standing out there at a distance, an older couple, maybe. I don't know. Because from a distance, the man, allegedly, his hair was cut short like a man's, but then again, it could have been a woman's. And so I started looking. You look down, you look at the chest. Okay? Well, being as the lines are so blurred, and people don't know beans from apple butter, diddly squat. Of course, whether or not they're a man or a woman depends on the day of the week and what they're feeling or what they think in their mind and their heart, right? So I'm looking at this couple, and as I said, it's at a distance, a long distance, so I look down trying to discern, okay, are there breasts? Are there breasts? But then again, we have A cuppers out there also. There's nothing wrong with that. If God gives you an A cup, you got an A cup. If God gives you a double D, that's what you got. It's just the way that it is, and both of them can be very attractive. It really doesn't make me any difference. It's the person. But I wasn't looking for that sort of judgment anyway. Trying to determine what it was that I was looking at, I couldn't see face. It was a little too far away. So I was looking for lumps under the top of the t-shirt, because they're both in t-shirts. You know, we have unisex clothes. And yeah, there might have been, or there might not have been. It might have been an older man. I'm not saying gentleman because that's a title that is earned. Well, there's an older man. It could have been an older man with man boobs, to be crude about it, or it could have been a woman with an A cup. But it being as it had its hair butched off like a man's, which would be proper if it were a man, but half the women are doing all that also. There really wasn't a secure way, just looking out the window from a distance, to tell what it was. And we wonder why gender confusion comes in, which leads to the sexual identity confusion garbage, and we wonder why. You wonder why. When you look out your window and there's a couple, so you think, standing there, and you can't hardly tell the difference one from another. Like in the 80s, someone had talked about whenever men were growing their hair very long, which happened before the 80s. Don't think you're anything special. You walk up to the back of a fine-looking body, not that you're checking it out necessarily, but you know, maybe the size and stuff and everything looks, and then they turn around and, ugh, it's a man. A woman shall not wear that which pertaineth to a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. As somebody had said that I had heard quite some time ago, women have been cross-dressing for decades, the majority, all of them, since the women's suffrage movement, and the women decided that they needed to wear the pants in the family. They've been cross-dressing. But then you see these idiot men out there that want to think that they're women and actually dressed in women's clothing. And I had seen this a couple of times in town a little ways from here. A couple of times the same man in a dress. It wasn't Halloween or anything like that, and he had a beard on his face. Obviously a man dressed up. What is that? Unless he's Uncle Milty or something. What is that? But back, circling around to the point, and then I'm going to shut up on this rant. You know, you're a woman of God, a true child of the living God. Eventually the Lord would convict them and they would stop it. But if you have this wonderful God who just does all these mighty things and keeps everything in line, and boy, he just supplies all your needs, and he's going to take you to heaven when you die. I doubt it. But he can't even get your hair color right, and you've got to correct him. Don't tell me about it, because I don't care to hear. Doth not nature itself teach you that long hair on a man is a shame? The long hair on a woman is her crown, her covering, her glory. As they've done with most anything, such as babies that they don't want, but they made. Long hair on a woman is her glory. The Lord has given it to her for a covering. But of course they spit that right out the window also and go to their church buildings with their bleached out hair. That is too, I would have to look it up again. Maybe someone else could actually do it. And that is too a pagan goddess, that bleach job anyway. It allegedly killed Jean Harlow, what they were using on her. But, you know, if you've got a God who's so powerful and so mighty, but he can't even give you the right color hair and you have to correct it, hello, Miss Clairol, then don't trouble me. Don't bother me. Go away. Okay. So enough of a little rant today, but little things I notice now and again. Appearance. It's important. It's important. Look like what you are. Decades ago in the 80s, when they were making the Cadillacs that were essentially little Chevy Cavaliers with a Cadillac symbol on them. It looked like what it was, and it was what it looked like, but it didn't look like what it was supposed to be. It did not look like a Cadillac. It looked like a little Chevy um, Cavalier with a Cadillac badge on it. Well, shoot, y'all, you know I could put a Rolls Royce badge on my Buick. It's still a Buick. Just show, people, show. Now and again I grow weary with it. And I look forward to the day, I will be grateful for the day when I go home. Whether it be by death, and if it's by death, what kind of suffering, torment, and torture am I going to have to go through to die out of this world? Or whether it be by the catching up. Because you know one thing I've noticed, very seldom ever, and as for those celebrity Christians who allegedly did, they don't tell you the full story. It seems as though no one gets out of this life easily, and if you die, then you either die very hard, or there's years of suffering and then you die, or there's years of suffering, bad suffering, and then you die very hard. Or you're like my father and you get hit in the head with a wrecker hook and it rips a piece of your brain out, so you end up dying on life support. Ain't it lovely? No one gets out of this world easily. No one does. And nowadays anyone who claims that someone did, I think they're quite full of beans. Could be said that a loved one of mine died peacefully. Well, yeah, but we could leave out the years of suffering before that. We could leave out the decline. Yeah, technically they did die peacefully. Their eyes were closed and they were breathing and then they stopped. Let's look at the days of the, I guess, death breath. And the years of suffering before that. And the years of misery before that. But technically they died peacefully. That day I was there. So, once again, rambling rant. Maybe that's what people would call it, who don't care to listen anyway, who don't care to give it any credence, when that's the way it is. I've seen no one thus far in my lifetime get out of this world easily. From years of suffering, years of decline, be there many or be they few. Yeah, my great-grandpa, he was laying in his living room on a hospital bed, dying with intestinal cancer. He had gotten to a point where even a touch would hurt him. He could no longer get himself up. And yet he died peacefully. He was laying there. He just stopped breathing. But the misery that he went through before that, and the years of misery back when men were strong, I lacked there too. That men from those periods and those times just didn't talk about it. They toughed it out. They were strong. Unlike these ranting, whiny little pieces of flesh who sometimes can't even figure out what they are anyway. I lack that sort of manly, masculine strength that my grandfathers had. It's lacking quite a bit now. Nonetheless, hit it one more time, then I'll be done, I promise. If you're a Christian, woman specifically, and it could apply to the men too, but you have to have your hair bleached out like a fake pagan goddess so that you can like yourself. Don't tell me about your God. If he can't even give you the right hair color, then I don't know what he could do. Just go away. Do you know how much that belittles and discredits him? And you look like the world. You look like the world. Come come out from among them and be ye separate. So for now, bye bye bye.